And we are live, and now I can actually see the green dots. So I think I've figured out this whole audio challenge. And just for those who are wondering, here's what my stack is currently. It's a Sony A6600 camera. I'm going directly live through the browser into YouTube. I am not using a streaming service other than YouTube. The microphones are DJI wireless lav mics, and I've got a whiteboard behind me. Let me get rid of this microphone. This comes from a conversation I had earlier today. Anytime you see the whiteboard change, it's because I'm actually working with people. So hopefully you see the whiteboard change a lot. Today, what I want to do is I want to get into stop fucking up. Actually, I probably shouldn't use language like that. Stop screwing up your handoffs between sales and customer success. Stop screwing up your handoffs between sales and customer success. How do we do this? Well, we're going to go to the whiteboard, and let's first start with what is the problem that we're looking to solve for? What's our goal? Our goal should be with any service that we're delivering to our customers, whether it's software as a service or it's I've seen more people talk about software with a service, which is kind of interesting. Maybe it's just a general product. What do we want to do? We want to accelerate speed to impact. We want to be able to get there to the point where the customer, is out at the top of the mountain, shouting from the rooftop, saying, "This was the most amazing thing I've ever purchased. It's the most amazing thing I've ever implemented. I absolutely love this. And if you're struggling with this problem, you should go work with this person. If you're struggling to gain clarity and focus, go work with Mike. If you're struggling to simplify problem solving, go work with Mike. If you're struggling for marketing, go work with Cassie. Go work with Jody. Don't work with Mike. That's not my thing. Go work with Carly. There are a number of other people to talk about that kind of thing. But we want to kind of say, this is where we want to go. Well, we know that there's this kind of meandering trail that people need to go through before they get to Z. They've got to get to, Y, X, Y. So they got to get to X. They got to get W. And they kind of work all the way back. And really where they start here is at point A. So we want to get from A to Z really, really quickly. But many of us don't have unlimited resources. We can't give all of our customers a helicopter that gets them from first time that they realize that there's actually a problem, become problem aware, to problem solved. So we design backward, execute forward. Design backward, execute forward. When we're designing this stuff, think about the game of life. Everybody starts a part of their journey and they work their way through, and we want them to go from A to B to C to D to E. And if we skip steps, we're taking on risk. Now, that risk could be calculated and might be worth it just because of the time or resources available. But maybe the risk isn't even necessary. If we design backwards successfully for our customers, and we know what happens right before this success, and then what happens right before that, and what happens right before that, what happens right before that, we design with intention, we can actually enable customers to accelerate speed to impact. We can enable them either with communication or meetings or some kind of technology that helps accelerate through each of these areas. The thing that we're going to talk about, though, is one of the biggest challenges that happens in organizations where someone is, let's say they're problem aware already. So we're not unknown problem, or we're just ambivalent. We're actually known problem, and we're looking to solve for it. We're problem aware. How do we get from problem aware to problem solved? Typically, there's some kind of activity that happens with a sales professional in here. And you might manage your sales cycle. You go from opportunity created, so validated, then qualified, fit established, confirmed fit happened. Okay, we're just working through those stages of the sales process. Every time we work through this, we increase probability of sale, proposal approved, closed won. We move through these things. Remember, that's kind of like chutes and ladders. We go from validated to qualified to fit, confirmed fit, meaning we can solve the problem. Client confirmed fit. They believe that we can solve the problem. They can afford it. There might be some back and forth in here. We get a proposal in front of them. run into procurement, it gets pushed back to qualification. This is like chutes and ladders, but there's this piece that happens all on the sales side. Typically, we won the contract, and then we hand it off to success. S-U-C-C-E-S-S. Success. We hand it off to success. And then what happens? Well, all of a sudden, there's this baton that's been handed off. And sometimes the people on this side of the equation don't have all the information that the people had on this side of the equation. The customer is still the same customer. They're still moving through. We're still working with Intel. We're working with the Walt Disney Company. We're working with Catalyst X, whatever. Still the same person. That variable continues to go through. Now, whenever you add complexity, new people on both sides, you create risk. So how do we de-risk these things? Well, we de-risk these things by setting expectations. That's one way. So we document. This is where things like your account plan, remember that hexagon, your account plan, what problem are we solving for? Who are the people? Why? Business impact. Why does it persist? How we're actually going to solve it. Short-term, medium-term, long-term, our plan. When? All of that kind of stuff. Your account plan, when it transfers from sales to success, because we're using the same language, all of a sudden, there's less risk of that baton being dropped. So simplifying this transition. One, documentation. It should be in your CRM. This should be in whatever tools you're using to help with manage the implementation, your implementation planning guide, your implementation planning checklist. One way that we can also help mitigate the challenge associated with this is we can say, hey, it's going to take time to implement once we make the decision. What if we brought customer success in before the deal was won? Now, I know some of you are out there saying, look, my customer success team is stretched too thin. They just don't have time to engage with every one of the customers. Don't do it with every one of them. Do it with the ones that are the highest risk customers that you have, the ones that have the highest opportunities. Prioritize the customers that you do this with. Get your customer success team engaged either in the fit standpoint where you've confirmed fit. If you're a early stage company, a little bit later stage, it might be at client confirmed fit. And the thing to do is to trade in this area where you get access to the other people who are going to be responsible for the implementation, get them involved in the conversation too. So now we've got someone else on the client side and someone else on your side. And the reality is they're going to have to be introduced to each other at some point anyway. Let's get them working together early and often. They might also be able to identify some potential red flags. Now, I know you as a VP of sales or as an account executive inside one of these organizations is saying, the last thing I want to have happen is have customer success come in and create some kind of friction in the discussion and take us a couple of steps backward. If customer success getting involved is going to take you a couple of steps backward, you're doing your job wrong. You have not completely qualified the opportunity. You've not done all of your discovery. They should be a member of the team that helps. So get out there, work together, work with the customer. Have this baton not really be a handoff right after closed one, and we've got our implementation meeting. Have a pre-implementation planning meeting someplace in this confirmed fit area, get some other people around, and gain some more advocates inside the business. So 2 ways to help improve the handoff between sales and success. 1, have a consistent account plan framework that you use on both sides of the equation. If you're leading sales and success inside your organization as a leader, you should be able to do this. If you can't do this, you're not a very good leader. Have the same kind of account planning framework set up. And if you don't believe that can happen, give me a call and I'll show you how it can happen. It can happen. Have the same kind of framework. You start using the same language from an account planning perspective. Get your CSM involved earlier in the process. When you do that, make sure you're trading people back and forth. Trade people from the client side and from your side as far as involvement. Remember, this is not only about creating an introduction, starting to build a relationship. It's about reducing friction as we get later into these stages and we have to move through the implementation piece. So if consistency and communication through the account plan, we'll have consistency and communication because people are involved. And the third area where you can have consistency is in the way that you design your call plans, which, hey, shocking, those squares, those are call plan frameworks. They enable customers. Who's going to be in the room? What is the customer's objective? What's our objective? What are our desired next steps? And we can design for the first call, the second call, and the third call. And the reason why you can design for this first call, second call, and third call is because you've done this before. You've worked with your customers before. Leverage design principles, design backward, execute forward, have consistency in account planning, consistency in the time frame in the process when you get people involved, and consistency in your approach around the tools that you use when engaging with customers. Then get all of that stuff into your CRM. It's amazing what will happen when you improve communication here. You will get better feedback from customers. You will get more referrals. You'll have a consistent experience for everyone. And you will address that challenge that exists when we overcomplicate the handoffs between sales and success. If this is something you're struggling with, this is one of the problems I can help you solve for inside your business. It's something I've done inside other organizations where we've created a level of specialization at the right time and right place inside our go-to-market team. You know how to get a hold of me. If you know somebody who would benefit from this, you've got a leader inside your organization who's struggling with this, or you're struggling communicating some of these things, share it with them. Have them get a hold of me. Hope you're doing awesome. We went just a little bit over 10 minutes. My goal was to get under 10 minutes, and I just went over. It's 11:02 from a timeline perspective. Hope you're doing awesome. If you have questions about this, give me a call. Go to findmycatalyst.com to find all of the contact information. Please like and subscribe to the channel. If you give the thumbs up and add in a comment, it helps people realize that it's here and valuable. If you subscribe, you'll never miss one of these things, both the live version of it and then the video versions of the podcast that we're pushing live. Sales is a thinking process. Business is a thinking process. Life is a thinking process. How are you thinking differently about your process? Thank you.